welcome to Newsfeed, your daily dose of what people are talking about online, from news stories to what's trending. Social media bosses could be facing jail time in the UK if their platforms fail to protect children from online harm. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak appears to have bowed to pressure from Rebel MPs and has agreed to toughen up the online safety bill. The legislation is set to become some of the toughest in Europe. It follows a similar new law in Ireland, which holds tech bosses criminally liable for failing to protect social media users. Francis has been following the story.
It's a significant toughening up of possible sanctions on social media companies in the UK that could see bosses of tech companies facing jail time if they fail to comply. Companies can also be fined up to 10% of turnover under new legislation that has the backing of the UK opposition Labour Party and its leader Sir Keir Starmer. Among the law's objectives are an increase in user safety, preserving and enhancing freedom of speech online, and helping law enforcement officers tackle illegal content. But it's specifically targeted at protecting children. Politicians on all sides were reportedly motivated by the death of 14-year-old Molly Russell. She took her own life 5 years ago after viewing thousands of posts on social media that depicted suicide, depression and self-harm.
Until Molly's case sort of happened, I think a lot of parents probably didn't realize the effect social media can have on a child or on any user, as a matter of fact, and the fact that the way algorithm works and the way that it feeds, the content that you look up on.
Molly's family has now set up a charity aimed at helping others. The content she and other children accessed repeatedly will in the future be classed as illegal for anyone under the age of 18. For many, it's long overdue. And while the UK government says it's protecting freedom of speech, others are not too sure.
Now, that would essentially have given the government a sort of open-ended power to require the likes of Facebook, the likes of Twitter, to take down almost anything they didn't like.
For social media companies, it's a concern. Laws like this will mean more vetting, less users, and inevitably reduced revenue from advertising.
Elon Musk's latest attempt at making Twitter profitable is to auction off over 800 items from the social media giant's San Francisco HQ. So the shedding of thousands of jobs is now followed by the shedding of office items, from the usual workplace electronics and lounge chairs to things you wouldn't expect in an office, like high-end cooking equipment, including rotisserie and pizza ovens, vegetable dryers, and industry-grade coffee machines that cost $10,000 a pop if brand new. The online auction takes place from January 17th to the 18th, with most items starting at $25 or $50. It follows Musk's turbulent takeover of Twitter, which brought with it rapid-fire policy changes, U-turns, and, according to Musk himself, a nosedive in ad revenue. Critics say the auction aims to raise money for the Twitter CEO himself, who needs the cash following the $44 billion he spent buying the company, which has never actually turned a profit.
Hey, well, all right, sir, here we go there, and what are they going to give for? I'm at 25 to get 30 now, 500 bid to 5 and a 40 now, 500 bid to 5 to $50 30 behind me.
Elon's Twitter, everything must go. And no, we're not talking about the staff this time. Twitter's auctioning off hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff from its headquarters, and it can all be yours. You can get a Twitter bird statue or a 6-foot-tall @ planter. If you're looking to renovate your house to be startup chic, you can get Eames loungers, design within reach chairs, and other swanky pieces of furniture. Otherwise, congrats to anyone who needs to start a new cafe from the ground up, or if you're a weirdo enthusiast who really wants to drink espresso from the same machines that Twitter software engineers got their Java from. The prices are probably going to go up from the rock bottom starting bids, but the liquidation of all this equipment might not get Elon much closer to profitability at Twitter than he currently is.
Art generated by artificial intelligence is enjoying a boom on the internet, particularly on social media. But while its popularity is on the rise, the anger it's generating among artists is also ramping up. A class action lawsuit has been filed in California against two of the biggest AI image generators, Midjourney and Stability AI. Portfolio site DeviantArt is also being sued. The lawsuit is seeking compensation for damages caused by the platforms and an injunction to prevent further harm. The claimants say these sites use copyrighted material to train AI without any consent or credit. The case reflects an online movement against AI art.
This piece by Jason Allen won the Fine Art Award at last year's Colorado State Fair. There was uproar when it became known the image was AI generated, and the jury decided to uphold their decision. The win sparked a massive debate online that continues to this day. The last few months have seen an explosion in the personal use of AI tools. Open social media apps and you will see AI-generated avatars or someone's weird conversation with a chatbot. DALL-E, ChatGPT, Lensa, and many more tools can be seen everywhere. While doctoring images may be a cool way to get a unique profile picture for the ordinary netizen, it carries so much more significance for artists. These images on ArtStation are all created by artists as a protest against AI-generated images, particularly those on the very same platform. The main issue? How works by human artists are being used to train algorithms without their consent.
Programmers feed existing art into AI to broaden its capabilities, so when your friend shares their latest Lensa portrait, it likely originated from a painting or drawing done by a human. If another human did this, it would be called plagiarism, but the rules for AI haven't been established yet.
There's a distinct lack of regulations surrounding artificial intelligence in the world of art, meaning artists are not protected, and plagiarism is on the rise. With AI, variations of existing art can be created which are almost identical to original pieces, yet just different enough not to be a carbon copy.
ArtStation quickly reacted to the artist's revolt and introduced the tag No AI. If an artist tags their projects with this tag, AI won't be able to use their work. Is it really just a problem of copyright? Or have artists become concerned that AI will take work away from them?
That is a perfect copy.
After all, up until recently, AI artworks looked like this, and now they look like this.
Of course, artists are concerned about the value of art and how they're going to continue to make money. AI already produces award-winning artworks far more cheaply than artists. So, will this technology replace humans in certain fields and deprive artists of an income? Creators are demanding regulations for this technology. They want mandatory labels on AI pieces and governments to put controls on developers preventing them from feeding images into their databases without the artist's consent. Perhaps most importantly, they argue that artificially produced pieces shouldn't enjoy copyright protection because human authorship is a prerequisite for intellectual property. The other side of the argument? Well, it's just a tool. Think cameras. When photography was invented, critics said it would spell the end of art. Now, photography is widely accepted as an art form. Defenders of AI say while photographers manipulate the settings of a camera to create photos, they are instructing AI engines to produce art. Human input is still needed to create an image.
This is not something you should fear. This AI is barely advanced enough to produce usable images, and it runs entirely off of already existing material. You see, an artist might look at something like this and be afraid of it, but a good artist will look at it and see an opportunity, a symbiotic relationship, if you will, one in which we create work to inspire it, and they can take our creations and conceptualize something crazy and new in a fraction of the time it takes for us to do the same, and then we could take those concepts to inspire amazing creations of our own, and so on and so forth.
It appears the battle between traditional and AI-generated art will rage on until uniform and sensible regulations are finally put into place.
China's population has shrunk for the first time in 6 decades. Official figures for 2022 showed that the population fell to just over 1.4 billion. That's 850,000 less people than in the previous year. And early estimates show the population will continue to fall over the next few years. Official stats also show that the economy expanded by 3% last year, shy of the government's 5% target. Wilson has been counting the cost.
China's dramatic economic growth over the last 40 years was no miracle. It was the result of a combination of luck and planning that relied on an abundant supply of labor. That helped China's manufacturers produce goods far cheaper than their Western competitors. It gave them an advantage that helped transform the country into the world's factory. But that advantage is slipping away as birth rates decline. In some ways, China's development became a victim of its own success and rules that curbed runaway population growth. China's rise to 1 billion people in the 20th century was encouraged by leader Chairman Mao Zedong, who saw population growth as key to his country's global power. After his death, Beijing realized the country was running the risk of famine and put in place the one-child policy. Now, Beijing has started pushing people to have more children. But rapid urbanization and the high cost of education has meant that families don't have the reason or funds to have more kids. This is a trend that's not unique to China. Population growth plummets wherever incomes rise and technologies improve. What worries Beijing is the hundreds of millions of people who will be retiring soon, with fewer and fewer young people to support them. Rising wages and fewer workers also mean China will lose its competitive edge in global trade. Now it looks like China realizing its ambitious development goals for the 21st century may take a real miracle.
Moving to Hollywood would be a dream come true for many people. But you'll need deep pockets for such a move, since property in North Hollywood on average sells for well over $1 million. Properties snap up pretty quickly, but one home is having a tough time finding new owners. In fact, it's being trolled pretty hard online. Called the Crypto House, as the name suggests, it's packed with crypto, of course, and NFT stuff splashed across its walls. There are also rooms with prints of tweets all over the walls and another themed with Bitcoin logos. Originally listed in October last year for $1.2 million, a complete lack of interest saw the property plummet to less than $950,000. Not only are buyers shunning the house, but it's also listed on Airbnb with a vacancy rate of 100%. Nobody wants to stay in it.
Okay, y'all, I just found something on the internet that made me scream a little bit, and I need to share it with y'all. So last night I was on Redfin, just scrolling before I go to sleep. It's like a dopamine hit for people in their 30s, and I found this listing. First glance, it's not bad. You know, it's a house in Los Angeles, North Hollywood to be exact, that's under $1 million, which if you live here, you know that's a big deal. It's got 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, not bad. But let's take a look inside. First picture, the design choices, they're bold. Okay, but maybe this is your look. Maybe you can imagine yourself here. Maybe you are the kind of girly who wants to paint their fireplace a metallic purple. No judging here. I would never put that rug with that fireplace, but all right, whatever. And then I get to this room, okay? And I'm like, is that wallpaper with the Bored Ape Yacht Club? That can't be. Oh, but it is. And it's everywhere in this house. You remember those NFTs, Bored Apes, that were wild online last year? Yeah, they decided to make that into a wallpaper. And I was like, that's a design choice.
That is certainly a design choice. And that's our show. Find us on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you same time tomorrow.